Hello again my friends, Bungie's making changes to how Destiny's weapons perform, so let's have a look at what's going down. Let's start with hand cannons. Now according to Bungie, hand cannons are intended to be the ideal weapon for precision minded players on the move, performing best at close to medium range. The rounds hit like a truck, so you shouldn't need to fire fast to be effective. Now Bungie explains that hand cannons are a little too effective at longer ranges. Players can hand back and use the hand cannons like a scout rifle or sniper rifle, and this is certainly true of Hawkmoon. And so Bungie's making some subtle changes to make the hand cannon optimal at medium range. So then, here are Bungie's goals for the hand cannon. Performs best at medium range, performs best when shots are paced but becomes less effective when fired quickly, and rewards agility when under fire, precision targeting and snapshots. And here's the changes Bungie will make to achieve these goals. Reduce effective range, in other words, hand cannons won't be as lethal at longer ranges, and slight reduction to initial accuracy, which Bungie says will be unnoticeable at close range and more noticeable at longer ranges. Next up, we have pulse rifles, and here's how Bungie describes them. The pulse rifle is the spiritual middle ground between full auto and semi-auto weapons, delivering lethal bursts at a forced pace. The right combat rhythm rewards both target tracking and precision shooting. And here's how I describe them. Horse shit. Now, pulse rifles are officially the least used weapons in Destiny. Basically, they suck major balls, and so Bungie is working to make them a viable weapon choice. Here are their goals for the pulse rifle. Performs best at medium range, but can still effectively harass enemies at close or long range distances. Able to track moving targets and then deliver precision damage in bursts. And here's the change Bungie is making. Increase base damage by 9.7%, which means that the damage per second is now more in line with other primaries. Next up, we have auto rifles, and here's what Bungie has to say about them. It's our goal for the auto rifle to be a visceral close to medium range chainsaw. It should reward target tracking and drop in effectiveness at longer ranges. Looking at raw damage per second, the auto rifle is the most lethal primary weapon class across all of Destiny's activities. It's extremely effective in most combat scenarios and engagement distances. In fact, it's so effective that its intended role in the primary family is being partially obscured. We want you to be able to deliver a steady stream of precision damage with an auto rifle, and you still can, but you'll need to get a little bit closer. In other words, Bungie's toning down the auto rifle's effectiveness at long range. So then, here are Bungie's goals for the auto rifle. Performs best at close to medium range. Damage, stability and range are tuned so that players desire stability for reliable close quarters damage or range for better accuracy at a distance. And here are the changes Bungie's making to achieve these goals. Reduce base damage of auto rifles by 2.5%. Reduce effective range so that damage, fall off and accuracy are a stronger factor in combat decisions, and the range stat is now more critical to long distance engagements. Next up, we have shotguns, and here's what Bungie has to say about them. Shotguns are the close quarters king. These are the weapons you need to eliminate anything that is directly in your face. The role of the shotgun has been well established in the shooter genre for a long time now. For Destiny, we have some very interesting data. A very high amount of players use shotguns in PvP, and almost no one uses them in PvE. In PvE activities, the reward of a close quarters shotgun attack on any non-grunt enemy doesn't give you enough of a damage spike to warrant using this weapon. Like the fusion rifles, in the Crucible, it's not difficult to find a shotgun that is very lethal at some unexpected ranges. We've also seen that the Crucible ammo economy allows for players to use shotguns with wild abandon, so we've made a reduction to initial starting ammo. So then, here are Bungie's goals for shotguns. Performs best at very close range. Complements melee attacks and other close quarters class builds. In PvP, closing down an enemy with a shotgun is a risk-reward timing game. And here are the changes Bungie's making to achieve these goals. Increase damage by 100% against aliens in PvE. Reduce range so that players with long-range shotguns need to be a little closer for successful one-hit kills. Initial starting ammo is reduced, which means starting a Crucible match, you'll have less shotgun ammo in reserve. Next up, we have fusion rifles, and here's how Bungie describes them. Fusion rifles are one of the most contentious weapons in the PvP arena right now. They've been largely untouched since Destiny launched, and it has been great to watch the community slowly adopt these weapons and understand how to use them effectively. Currently, they are the most hotly unliked weapon to be killed by. On the other end of the feedback spectrum, they are supremely satisfying guns to kill with. It's pretty easy to find a fusion rifle that can push the range limits and land one-hit kills or cause massive damage from pretty far away. Furthermore, in the Crucible, it's not difficult to depend on a steady stream of special ammo, so that players rarely have to pick and choose the right time to use this weapon. Our changes address these issues and leave the overall feel and function of fusion rifles intact. So then, here are Bungie's goals for fusion rifles. Performs best at mid-range, where targets are easier to track, but they're not close enough to attack while you charge up. Requires combat foresight and the ability to predict a target's movements to use successfully. And here are the changes Bungie's making to achieve these goals. The blast pattern on a fusion rifle burst cone is a little wider. This means that close to medium range volleys are largely unaffected, but at a distance the projectiles are less likely to land hits on a single target, and this also reduces the reliability of landing a one-hit kill at far range and makes the weapon better at spreading damage into a group. And the initial starting ammo is reduced, which means when starting a Crucible match you'll have less fusion rifle ammo in reserve. As for heavy machine guns, rocket launchers, sniper rifles and scout rifles, Bungie had this to say. For the most part, these weapons have not been changed as part of this update. However, changes to the Destiny arsenal mean that untouched weapons may now seem different in side-by-side comparisons. You may discover new reasons to start using some of these weapons as part of your combat strategy. So then, these changes will be implemented by the end of January. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of the video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe for daily Destiny content, and thanks for watching, you beautiful bastards. And as always, until next time, Guardians.